Video walkthrough on a used Coachmen Freelander. We start in the back. You do got a backup camera up there, which is nice. And we'll talk more about it when we go into the inside and talk about the screen up front. You got a little level, so you know when you level side to side. I do think there is one on the other side too. Nope. Might be another one around here. You come in here, plenty of storage. Kind of dips down on either side. Plenty of room for some larger items in here. You do got a receiver on the back, as well as a 7-way plug there, and it has a, let's see, 5,000 pound weight limit, so perfect if you want to tow your car with you, or like a smaller boat or something like that. Bumper caps do come off. That's going to be the perfect spot to store your sewer hose. There's access to that other part of the storage. But here, this is where you drain your tanks when you're done for your trip. Let's get this cap, make sure that's on for you. So the gray one's your gray tank. Your gray tank is your shower and your sink water. Your black tank is your toilet water. There you go. I always recommend doing the black tank first, dumping that, letting that get all the way drained out, and then pulling your gray, dumping your gray. That'll flush out the black water out of your hose, so you don't have to carry around a hose dripping with black tank water. This, pretty self-explanatory. This is where you're going to fuel up at the gas station. Your generator will use the fuel from this tank as well. Here you have a cable inlet. So if you are going somewhere that provides cable, you can hook up cable through there. Black tank flush, so when you're dumping your black tank at the dump station, they usually have a hose there too. You can hook that hose up to here, turn it on, and there's a little nozzle in the black tank that'll kind of help flush everything out. And to the left of that is your city water connection. That's where, wherever you're going provides water, that's where you're going to hook your hose up to. It'll operate off the city water pressure. You won't need to run your pump or anything like that. Here you got your shore cord. It's built in, so you can't really lose it. You just kind of stuff it in here when you're done. And if you want everything to look nice, pivot that out of the way. Close it like that, and it looks nice and neat. Now, if you want to use your generator, you have to take the end of your 30 amp plug and plug it into that outlet right there. And if you see right here, start generator before plugging it in. Failure to follow could result in property damage. So make sure your generator is already running before you go and plug this in. So I recommend unplugging your shore cord from any source of power, starting your generator, and then plugging it into that outlet over here. Other than that, if you don't plug it into that outlet, your generator won't be powering anything. You got more storage over here. Right here is access to your, I believe, your generator. Yep. So you can take that panel off and perform any maintenance back there if you need to. Air filter, oil changes, checking the oil and whatnot. We'll get more into the cab when we go into the inside. Coming around this side, we'll just close this for now. Do have storage out here, as well as you can see there's a spot for it to mount a TV. Then you have a cable outlet and then a GSCI outlet outside too, if you want to have it set up to watch some TV outside. Right here, this will be your propane. You can tell because of all the stickers, and it's the only compartment door besides the generator one that doesn't lock. You go in there. I'm going to turn this off so it's off for you folks. But all the way to the right is off, all the way to the left is on. You do have a gauge over there. It is reading 3/4. 3/4 is full. There has to be 25% room for vapor. Fridge vent, just for airflow for your cooling unit. Either the other part is on the roof. Make sure you check this, make sure it's clean, not clogged up with anything. Every once in a while I do recommend taking the cover off and cleaning back there. Your furnace, previous owners already have a screen on it, which is nice. That's going to keep debris from building in there. But every once in a while I do recommend taking this off and checking to make sure nothing got built up in there. Water heater is super simple to use. Get your plug when you're ready. It gets threaded into here. Start it by hand and then run it the rest of the way with a 15/16 socket. That's the size of it. I use that. a little short ratcheting wrench, a ratcheting socket. Not ratcheting socket, a socket with a short extension and a ratcheting wrench. I get it snug, but don't over tighten this because you could strip the threads out of these. Once that plug is in, as soon as you hook up with any source of water, whether it be from your fresh tank, or your city water, it's going to start filling up. Once it's filled, you're able to turn it on, and you're good to go. You should be able to have hot water in a couple minutes. Usually takes about 20 minutes to get the water hot, and then you're good to go. Now, definitely recommend draining it after every trip. You don't want water to sit. Sitting water will get stagnant. It'll start to smell and whatnot. So before you pull your drain plug to drain it, shut off all sources of water, then crack your pressure relief. It's going to squirt out all the water. That's all the built-up pressure. Once that water stops squirting out, snap that closed. Then you can take the plug out to drain it. If you neglect to relieve the pressure, all that pressure is going to come out of there when you pull the plug out, and you're going to get a hot bath. Other than that, I recommend cleaning down in there and in here quite regularly. Make sure this whole area back there is clean, so you know it can run in tip-top shape. Got a solar charge outlet. It's pre-wired for solar. You just have to buy the solar kit, and that's just going to trickle charge that battery, onboard battery. And then you do have outdoor power, GFCI protected. All your GFCI outlets are on the same circuit, so if one's going to trip, they're all going to trip. Come back to the back, other side of that storage, and then now that I'm seeing it, there's one thing I didn't see that we need to show you, and that is how to fill your fresh water, the onboard fresh tank. And I don't see that, which is weird. This may not have one, or it may fill from your city. We'll make sure that gets figured out. Might be in the back and I missed it. Well, we will figure this out. I'll leave it in the description down below where it is if we find it. But we have to continue with our walkthrough. Alright, come on in. First things first, you can lift this up after unlatching it. You can see that back here is your battery. Just so you guys know where it is. Here you got your controls for your awning. Usually on these drivables, if your keys are in the ignition, your awning won't open. Just because it's a safety feature. Just, just make sure your key's out of the ignition. And then these do not stop automatically when they're out. You have to kind of visually see that. When you see that bare gray tube, that's all the way out. Then they are adjustable. You can grab here and pull it down and then tighten up that knob. That's going to allow you to, you can do this on both sides. It'll allow you to pitch the edge over. So if it's raining, you can have water run off to one corner rather than all the way along the edge. Or you can have both pitched down, so if it's sunny, the sun's in your face, you can have it block kind of the sun. Now, if it starts getting really stormy because of the wind, doing a rainstorm, really heavy rain, roll your awning back in. It's not worth the risk. You don't want to tear the awning or anything like that. And if you roll it in wet, because you had to roll it up during a storm, as soon as it gets sunny and dry out, roll it back out, let all that water dry off before you re-roll it up again. Because you don't want that to hold moisture, it'll start to smell, it'll start to get stained. You got some light switches, this one right here, main lights, this one I do believe does, yep, your porch light up there. And right below there, battery disconnect, so turn it on, your batteries are connected. So if you were to unplug this right now and this were on, all the lights would stay on. But if I were to turn it off, all the lights would turn off because it's disconnecting the battery from everything. Usually you do need the battery connected for the dashboard, the radio screen to work. And then to the right of that, you got all your breakers for your 110 volt appliances, all your fuses for your 12 volt. So you got a 10, a couple 15s, 3 5s, and 2 40s. I recommend carrying just a box of spare fuses, just in case something were to happen, you have a something to fall back on. Got your panel right here. So you do have a water pump, so you should have a fresh tank. And like I said, I will leave in the description of the video where exactly it is to fill it, or we can spend a little time after the video looking for it. So if you're gonna pull from your onboard fresh tank, you turn your pump on from there. Turn your water heater on here, so it's just gas. Click it, you'll hear the tick, 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 and then a little light, and then the burner will cycle on and off to help regulate that. It's predetermined set temperature. You do have tank heaters, so there are heating pads on the tanks. So if you are going and it's below freezing out, it's going to keep what's in the tanks from freezing. You can start and stop your generator from here. All you do is hit the prime. It's not recommended you start it while it's plugged in, so we won't start it. But you hit prime when the light turns blue, then you hit start. And then when you want to stop it, you hit stop. You can read how full your propane, your battery, your onboard. So your fresh tank is full, so we have to find where it is. Black tank, gray tank, auxiliary. You don't have an auxiliary, so ignore that. But you can do gray, black, fresh, battery, and propane. We'll come on up here. You do have a TV up here. It does pivot out of the way. And I always tell people make sure it's pivot out of the way when you travel. And then you can tighten these knobs up, make sure it doesn't move. You do have cable outlet right there. And then a GFCI outlet right there with two things taken out. One of them is a DVD player right there. Then you do have a 12-volt outlet up above. Plenty of storage up here. This cushion right here flips down. It can lay on this for your bed. And there's 2 rungs to hook onto it for your ladder. But I always every time I drive these around for anything, I always take that up and move it because I like being able to have headroom. So we'll come up here. We'll talk a little bit about up front. So this drives pretty much like any box truck, mini Chevy truck. Right over here you got your lights. So you do have auto daytime running lights, which even the new ones don't have that. You can change the brightness of your dome. You can turn your dome light on and off right there and change the brightness of your dash and whatnot. Tow haul button, so if you are towing, you can push that and it'll relieve some of the stress on the transmission when you're towing. Cruise control is right here, so you can turn that on, set, reset, cancel it. Climate control is very simple. Fan speed, temperature, then you have AC, zones, and then defrost. Very simple. Radio, like I said, that battery disconnect needs to be on for the radio to work. So you can go to radio, hit that, brings you back to your memory. That backup camera might be separate. It might not actually have it in here. It might be an aftermarket added thing. You can go to radio, go to USB, Bluetooth, sync your phone up to it, Bluetooth, listen to your own music, tap the Bluetooth icon again. You go to disc, it's a CD player, you can pop a CD in there too. SD card, you can put an SD card in the slot right here. This will also have your auxiliary and your USB port right there. See if it has navigation set up. It may not. Nope. The radio doesn't have the navigation built into it. You go to next, there you go, camera. Backup camera. So you can go through your settings and have it so it's always on. Or when you shift into reverse, the backup camera will automatically turn on. Then you should be able to hit, kind of hard to read. North. Hit this button in the middle to go back to this main menu area. Then you have different settings. You can change the time and what part of the US you're in and whatnot. Audio settings, language, whatnot. You got your volume knob here. It's very simple to use. Radio. Skip channels, manually search, presets, push and hold to save a preset right here. Very simple. Alright. Then a few more things. You do have a 12-volt outlet up front. Not 12-volt, 120-volt outlet up front. And a 12-volt outlet right here. And another one here. And then you got a speaker right here. That's just for when you stick your phone up to Bluetooth, you can talk to people if they call you. You got a couch right here. It does turn into a bed. Just lift up, pivot it up like that. Creates a platform to sleep on. This turns into a bed as well. Just lift the table up. Nothing's really latching these legs in. You just pop them legs out. Rest the table on this little shelf on either side. You take these back cushions and lay them on there. And that creates a nice sleeping platform. Let's get some more lights on in here. Got a light switch right here. Turns on that light right there. And then I do think this switch turns... Okay, this switch right here turns on your kitchen area lights. So, you do add a microwave. It's just like your standard household microwave. It's only going to work on 120, so whether you're plugged in or running off your generator. Your light, fan vent right here. Cooktop, super simple. Turn it to light. Twist your sparker. Lights the burner. You can light them all at once if you wanted. But since we turned the gas off, that just bled all the gas out of the lines. Excuse me. Your oven works a little bit differently. You turn this to the pilot. Push and hold. As you're pushing and holding, you have to go down in there. There's a pilot right there. You have to light that with a barbecue lighter or a match, whatever you have to light it, as you're pushing and holding this. Once the pilot is lit, you can then turn it to whatever temperature you want to cook at. That'll turn the burner on, and you'll be good to go. Now, if you know you're going to cook on your oven for in a couple hours, you don't feel like having to relight that pilot again. When you turn it off, if you turn it to pilot, it shuts the burners off and it leaves the pilot on. That way you don't have to relight it. Now, I definitely recommend before you go to bed or before you leave the trailer, camper, turn it off. You don't want a lit pilot unattended. It's not good. Like I said, light switch here does this hallway light, / kitchen light. The other one right here does the light in the shower. Nice bright light. Right here you got your thermostat. It's very simple. Tap it. You have ask for your fan mode, auto, high or low. Auto is going to regulate whatever temperature you have set to it. So if you have your AC set to 60, once it reaches 60, it'll shut off and then it'll cycle on and off to help regulate that 60 degrees. Tap it again. Now you're telling it you want it on AC. Tap it again, you want it on furnace. Your AC goes all the way down to 55, your furnace goes all the way up to 90. Refrigerator, super simple. You get two buttons, on or off, auto or gas. I recommend just running on auto. It'll know to default to 110 when you're plugged in. And if you were to lose power for any reason, someone would trip over your short cord, this will automatically switch to running off of propane for you. So if you're going down the road and you want it running off of propane to keep your food cooled, you can do that. Or you can even have the generator running when you're going down the road, running it off of propane. Or running it off the generator. Smoke alarm, it does take 9-volt batteries, so when they start giving you those low voltage chirps, replace the battery. Antenna is super simple. You crank it up. The chart even tells you which way to crank to go up. Once it's up, you can pull this down. You'll be able to rotate it to kind of tune in the signal. But before you lower it, make sure these two triangles are lined up before you lower it back again. Because there's a little cradle on the roof that it sits in so it can sit properly on the roof. Shower, super simple. Hot and cold. A little sunlight, a little more headroom there too. Nothing super special about it. This kind of magnet close like this. Make sure you do latch it before you take off, so it doesn't accidentally open up. Swing these doors; they're glass. You don't want them to break. Bathroom. Light switch to the left. Your toilet's very simple. There's a pedal underneath it. Right over here. My foot is. As long as you're pushing that pedal down, it's going to keep flushing. Pretty simple in here. You do have a fan in here. Crank it open. You can turn it on. Crank this open if you had some spicy food the night before. You do have, this is the GFCI outlet that you reset at. So if any of the GFCI outlets were to trip, this is the one you come in and hit the reset button on to reset them all. Yeah. We're almost to the end. Come into the bedroom. The bedroom has a light switch to the right. Do have another spot to mount a TV. Looks like they had one here before. They took it off before they traded it in. Another outlet, cable outlet right there. And then, yeah, you got a light above the bed. You turn on and off with the switch right here. They have some hooks there for some hanging up some stuff. But than that, it's pretty bare bones. I do like how there's plenty of room on either side. And plenty of walking room. Some of them have the bed almost tight to the wall and you have to climb over people to get in. And then you do have Hey, we do have a fresh tank right here. We just gotta find your fresh tank fill. Alright, so right here, that knob right there, this one right here, this one right here, that's a drain for your fresh tank. Definitely recommend draining it almost after every trip, because if you have water just sitting in there, it'll start to get stagnant after a while. You know, we'll even drain it for you. So remember, if you want to fill your onboard tank, we did fill these up so we can test to make sure that they work properly. If you want to fill your onboard fresh tank after you get this trailer, remember, I have this drain open so it can drain for you. So if you're filling it and you're wondering why it's not filling up, come inside, lift up the bed, and close that one drain. I still need to find how it gets filled. Alright, so there's that. Well, that concludes our video tour of your used Coachmen Freelander. Remember, I'm going to leave in the a description of where and how to fill up the water, your fresh tank in the description. So make sure you guys read through that. I hope you guys found this video informative. I hope you guys get lots of good use out of this camper. It's a real nice one. And goodbye. Alright, it's me again. I found out how you fill your fresh tank. You ignore what I said about this being a black tank flush. This is where you screw your hose into to fill your onboard fresh tank. So ignore what I said about that being a black tank flush. This does not have a black tank flush equipped to it. I apologize for the misinformation, but I'm going to add this video to the end of it so you guys know for sure how to fill it. But since this is being filled with pressure, make sure you monitor its progress. Don't walk away, because if it gets full and you have your hose hooked up to it, it's just going to keep pressurizing that tank, and you might risk it over pressurizing and popping. Alright, bye.